What's up, guys? All right, so in the last video I made, I compared BlackMagic Raw's constant quality from Q0 all the way to BlackMagic Raw's constant bitrate 12.1. And one of the things I wanted to do is I wanted to actually take that image and in this video show you my workflow within DaVinci Resolve and how I was able to color grade that. Now this would not be a complete workflow. This is just going to be me color grading the image in DaVinci Resolve. And the beautiful thing about this is if you are here because you want to learn how to grade an image, say that you're not sure how to with the BlackMagic Raw, well, you can't really do it in Final Cut Pro without a plugin. And right now, currently, Adobe hasn't released anything to where you can import it within Premiere Pro. So right now, the options that I use is DaVinci Resolve Studio. That's $300. However, they do have a free version you can download from their website, and I'll leave that link below. Let's get started. I'm gonna turn around, let's get into DaVinci Resolve, and I'm gonna show you how I color graded those clips. Okay, so here we are in DaVinci Resolve Studio 16. Now, as we look into the clip that I've used, this is from the previous video that I did, of course. So the first thing I would do to this clip is go to the camera raw icon. What I'm gonna do is go to the decode using and clip. Now for the ISO, it always comes up when it as shot. You can always make adjustments to it. So before I do that, what I want to do is bring up my scopes. So the first thing I want to do is bring up these video scopes and make sure that the levels are where I want it before I start grading. Now typically what I like to do within the raw image is make sure that the exposure is right at the 768 and the 256, so that way I can make my own adjustments in the color log wheel. And let's jump into the color wheels. We'll start off with the primary wheels, and what I usually do is I want to make sure the adjustments of the exposure is correct. So I'll start with the gain, start increasing this until I get to about 2000, and then I bring the lift down so that way the mark goes down to 0. That's about where I want it. I'll click this off for now. I'll go ahead and add a new node, because now what I'm going to do is go into the contrast, colors, and make those adjustments. So the first thing I'm going to do is adjust the color. So I'm going to start adding some saturation. Now this is all up to you and how much color you want into it. If you're going to go for a more filmatic look, you want to make different adjustments. For me, I wanted to make this a beauty video, so trying to make the colors as natural and beautiful as possible. So saturation, it's about correct, and then I'll start adding a little bit of contrast, and I'll start pivoting that so that way it doesn't go on her face so much. Again, it's all about the look you're looking for. The next thing I will do is I'll start making adjustments to the temperature. And again, I'm eyeing this completely because that's the way I like to color grade, is by eye. I'll make a quick color boost, adjust the temperature a slight bit more, and that's about where my base is going to be at. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start making adjustments to her face alone without making any adjustments around her face. So I'll add another node, and I'll go to this icon here and I'll select the circle. And what this is going to do is I'm going to place this just so that way it hits her face alone. This is a pretty static image, usually a talking head image, and this will work perfectly for it. I would use a different tool like this tool here if I wanted to grab her skin tone if she was moving around a lot. But for this video purpose, I am going to be using this. Again, this is about how I got the shot in the last video. So you can use this button here to make sure that you're grabbing what you want. It looks good. So now I'll make adjustments just to her face alone. I'll start increasing the color boost. Now she's a redhead, so what's going to happen is she's going to peek out a little more on the magenta side. So I'll start increasing the greens and the gamma a little bit, so that way it moves away from that tone. But not too much. It's all about increments, because if you add too much, it's going to look crazy. So just increments is what you want to do. Adjust the temperature a slight bit. Perhaps go back to the saturation. Again, this is just affecting her face. So for now, that's about where I want it. I'll come back and take a look at the face again once I start adjusting some of the other scenes around her. So I will create a new node, because what I want to do is look at the background and adjust this slightly. So I'll take my color checker here, or my qualifier, and I will start clocking in the areas that I want to make adjustments at. As you can see, if you hit this button again, it'll show you exactly what you will be grading. Now again, I don't want to touch your face, just more on the walls. go back to it, and then I'll start adjusting the temperature slightly. So again, this is slight changes. Now I'm gonna go back to her face because I'm not liking what I see here. Now I'm gonna go to the radius of the sharpen or the blur. Now I feel they work pretty much the same. If you go blur, just gotta reduce it. And again, it's just increments. Go down to 47. Now you can see it's a little more sharper around her eyes. And I'm liking that look, it looks good. And I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add another node, and I'm gonna concentrate on her hair. Use the qualifier. As you can see, that would work for me. What I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna adjust the contrast a bit. And also go to the shadows, slightly. And let's take a look at that. There we go. And I always go back to my nodes because it seems like once you stare at a color for so long, it seems like it just, I don't know, like you can't really notice if it's the right color or not. So sometimes for me, I always usually walk away from it and come back and retake a look at it because I want to make sure that I'm looking at the right colors instead of just, you know, kind of like monotoning it and just thinking that it's the right one. That's about it. You know, I might adjust the shadows a tiny bit more. Maybe give it more of a color boost. But that's how I got the shot. And this is basically what you do from scratch when you want to grade raw. And this is about it. This is basically my color grade and my flow, what I did and how I graded the videos from the last one. Now what you can do from here too is you can actually grab a still and actually grab a LUT from there, so that way I can apply the exact same look to another clip based on these nodes. And it's very simple. You know, these nodes can be very discouraging. It can seem like it's a lot, or it can be very confusing. But if you ever worked in Photoshop, just think of these as adjustment layers, or layers on on top of layers. It just, you know, in a different way, they're just basically look different. You know, they usually go across them more than going, you know, up and down. But it's all they are. They're just layers. In a different video, I'm actually going to show you a different way that I get the colors that I want and the look that I want from the grade. Way easier than what I'm doing now. But it's good to know this way as well, so that way you can grade from scratch and grade however you want. Again, it's all about your eye. Again, it's all about how you feel and how you want the image to look. It's all about you. So there's really no correct way of, you know, like certain dial of what you need to do. Just remember, it's all about increments. It's all gradual. Well, that's it for me, guys. I hope you guys like this video. Please leave your comments or any questions you have down below. I would love to hear from you. But besides that, my friends, I will catch you guys in the next video.